Hello, welcome to Politics Season 2, Episode 2, which is the fifth in the overall series, to use the American terminology. I can't think of what our terminology would be. Right.
American one series is the English one.
No, because in America, a series is like the show, and then a season is the first season, the second season.
Yeah.
But just the whole, a collection of seasons would still be a series. So
yeah, okay. I'm with you on that.
Anyway, we will be talking about American politics later on, because I thought of a funny joke which I want to say, which is unfortunately might go against our usual policy of trying to keep this show PG, but it's really, really funny, so I want to say it anyway. Yeah.
It's not going to be that funny, is it?
No, it's going to be a massive letdown. Alright, anyway, UK politics. I've forgotten to bring up the flyer, because we've started getting the leaflets through the door for, well, I had two in my house so far from the people standing for election. I had one from the Conservative bloke. We've had a Conservative MP and Conservative councillors, and then a Lib Dem MP. And I was reading through it, and he seemed to have some decent policies, but then I turned over, and like the front of it, there's a big picture of his face, obviously, so you know who he is. And then like his second policy is campaigned against extended drinking hours. I was just like, obviously this man is not getting my vote. Like,
no, definitely not getting my vote.
No, exactly. What a ridiculous policy. So, I mean, if I was him, I would have played that down entirely. I'd be like, oh no, I don't remember voting for that policy at all. So,
I've campaigned in my time for policy changes, but I just can't remember which policy changes they were.
Yeah, so many policies, they just merge into one. But yeah, like, especially given that everyone's always trying to go after the youth vote, or like they actually aren't, but they like to pretend that they are because not enough young people vote. But yeah, I mean, I appreciate. Do you reckon he's just gone full out? It's like, well, we've abandoned young people on tuition fees, so we might as well just mug them off on drinking hours as well. Like, kind of like, let's just double down on not young people.
Yeah.
No.
Hello. Hello, Mrs. Blakey. That's literally the best thing to this show ever.
That's probably the worst heckle I've ever had.
What did she say?
I don't know. She's coming close the curtains a little bit, but I mean the curtains were already closed.
Look, we all know why she's coming. It's because she knew that I was going to be on. That's why. She knew I was on. She thought, oh, haven't seen Higgins in a while. Let's go and see him.
That is true, actually. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. We'll get her involved next time. Yeah,
well,
no, that's great, because I've totally forgotten what I was saying. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, drinking. In this in-depth political discussion. But yeah, I mean it's sort of a problem that you can see a five-way. What's it called? I keep wanting to say the Rebels debate, but like the Rebel Alliance, because they're not in power. But that's entirely not the right word. I want to say like challengers debate, like sort of a new challenger approach, like opposition. That's the word.
It's Nick Clegg was prevented from doing it because he's in government, despite the fact he's done nothing for 5 years. Apparently that means he's been in government, so he can't be part of these debates. But I mean, you know, it was an absolute joke. I mean, David Cameron saying I've unblocked the logjam and I'm only going to do one vote, one debate. It essentially meant that, you know, when he was on, he was diluted. Because you know everybody was concentrating on Nigel Farage and his ridiculous comments, and when he had the opposition's debate was on, it meant he could sit back, not really do much, and then respond after the event. He could say, "Well, I'd do this," or "I wouldn't do that," and you know it was very shrewd of him. But quite frankly, what we should have just done is had him, Clegg, and Miliband, and just said, right, okay, we're having 3 debates, then we're going to have an opposition's debate of all the minor parties like Plaid Cymru, SNP, UKIP, Greens. We'll have another debate with them lot in it. We'll have the three main party leaders in a debate together. If you don't show up, David, we'll empty chair you. It's as simple as that. It's nothing personal. Essentially, if you don't want to turn up, you don't have to. And it just makes you look really bad if you didn't turn up. I mean, the guy is such a smarmy git, and I don't like him. I never have liked him, to be honest with you. He's always been one of those rather unfortunate-looking, chubby people who could tell they were quite fat when they were younger, and then as they grew up, they got taller, but their face didn't lose any of the fat. So he's also got a forehead the size of the Isle of Wight, and I don't trust the man. I don't trust him to lead a country. He's done it mediocrely for 5 years. I don't think he'd be any good for it for another 5 years, quite frankly. But I think with the debates, and I watched the highlights of the opposition debates. It's all sort of rubbish that came out of Nigel Farage's mouth.
Well, I think the best thing Farage did was when he turned on the audience and was basically dismissing. Because that's the thing is the problem with all the people complaining about the debates, yourself included, is it has been done by a third party, like who are in theory meant to be independent. It was a broadcasting thing. I have no idea what went on at those negotiations. I imagine they were pretty boring.
Yeah.
But they were. Unfortunately, those conditions were agreed to by everyone. But it's still an odd situation. But yeah, because Farage at one point started turning on the audience and said, like this live studio audience, and said, even for the BBC, this lot are pretty left wing. Which was, I mean, it was funny. And then Dibbleby sort of said, I'm pretty sure you don't want to attack the audience. And then Farage said, the real audience is at home. And I just thought, well, that is, unfortunately, like a lot of things that come out of Farage's mouth, it is irritatingly true, but it's like, I mean, numerically, there are far more people at home than there are in the audience. So, like, statistically, slagging off everyone in the audience probably isn't going to affect the share of the vote, but then it just looks really, really bad. And it's a little bit like everyone's out to get me, they've got a base on the other side of the moon. You kind of, that sort of mentality of everyone here's after me. So I don't know. I don't know. It was just a weird one. But I mean,
have you seen the photograph of Ed Miliband and his "Oh please" look? He's literally just like it's when Farage is talking. He's there kind of going. It's absolutely
it's an odd face. Like, if anything, though, the thing that annoyed me most about the opposition leaders' debate is, again, like the seven-way, the thing that annoyed me most about both these debates is the people haven't been forced to wear their party colours. Like in the seven-way leaders' debate, Ed Miliband was wearing a grey tie. It's like, are you having a laugh? The Labour leader should be wearing a red tie. Cameron had blue on, Clegg had yellow, Farage had purple. Like, I appreciate that if you're Nicola Sturgeon, you don't really want to wear a bright yellow dress, but unfortunately that's your party's colours, so it should have been enforced. I appreciate it was slightly wintry at that point and yellow's more for spring and summer, but they should have made everyone wear the right colour. Leanne Wood as well, she was wearing something sort of red, and Plaid Cymru was sort of a dark green, whereas the Green Party were a light green. So it's not like anyone's going to get Leanne Wood and Natalie Bennett confused. Like, oh, there's two women wearing a green dress. I can't tell them apart, except that they sound like they're from opposite ends of the earth, which they sort of are. Like,
yeah. I mean, did you see the hug of the three women at the end of the debate, where the three women got together and gave each other a hug, and then there was just like Miliband was sort of at the end, and Farage was sort of at the end, and they were sort of both sort of there, like kind of, well, this is awkward.
Well, they're sort of both doing a Daniel Sturridge in that Liverpool photo, where he's just sort of leaning in, like, not really part of the photo.
No, it was worse than that. It's a full-on Ashley Cole at Roma, where they were sort of stood there, poking their heads in like that.
Oh yeah, that's yeah, Ashley Cole. That's horrendous. But yeah, it's funny. But I've just. Like, even though we do the podcast about politics now, I just find that, like, like the debate coverage now has just become so stale. That's for
Mm,
10 minutes of politics done, but we'll carry on. It's just become so stale because sort of nothing's really happening.
yeah, yeah.
I think
Oh,
I think they need to just make the whole process more interesting. They need a good like sex scandal or something. Talking of which, Hillary Clinton running for president of the US again.
I'm
I
so.
think
I mean, there's nothing that the Republicans. There's no real challenger for the Republicans, and I'd love to see Hillary in power because I think she's one of the few really influential and honest and open women in politics at the moment. And what was great was I think Jeb Bush or someone, it may not have been Jeb Bush himself, but someone tweeted saying, you know, who's a staunch Republican supporter certainly, tweeted, "We don't want another Clinton." And the response was a hashtag not another Bush.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, because Jeb Bush was governor of Florida, I think. Right. I mean, I've always felt bad for Hillary Clinton because basically she is probably the least famous person to have ever sucked off Bill Clinton. If Monica Lewinsky was running for president, everyone would know.
That is so harsh. But hang on, Monica Lewinsky wasn't wasn't she a reporter or something like that before? And anyway, it doesn't matter. But you are right.
Everyone knows who Monica Lewinsky is. I mean, what do we actually know about Hillary Clinton? Like, we know that she was Bill Clinton's wife.
Still is. She still is. She was wife, not was. Still is.
She was for like Minister for Foreign Affairs equivalent for a while. I think.
Yeah,
maybe. Secretary of State. That's the one. I mean, I couldn't. I don't know what else.
She is a congresswoman somewhere. I can't remember where though. Oh, it's going to do my head in. It's going to.
Oh wow.
Never mind. It doesn't matter. But I mean, I think she'll get the Democratic nomination, not a problem. And to be honest with you, I think that I don't think the Republicans can field a decent enough candidate. And anyway, who wants a Republican president again? They're all nuts. They're all gun-toting, anti-liberal, moronic people. And you know, it's really hard to keep this, as you said, PG when talking about the Republicans because they are a bunch of nutcases.
But this is the thing: is like I imagine Hillary Clinton. Surely they're going to give Hillary the at least one go at being president because otherwise she'll just keep coming back. Like, give it to her now. They can just save themselves a hassle in the future, sort of playing a long game. And
yeah, she's like that boss you can't kill on that game from the N64. It's like to move forward in life, you have to get rid of the boss, and Hillary just happens to be that boss. But I think
because Obama can't run, can he? Because you can only be like King of America for 2 terms, so like it can't be Obama again. But then I don't know if she'll win because Republicans have got some candidates who are they've got some more progressive candidates this time. Apparently, some people like Jeb Bush, and I can't think who the other one is. I don't think it's Marco Rubio, but it's someone out there who's like sort of giving indications they might not sort of be like crack down on states' rights to sort of legalise weed and stuff like that. There's a little bit more like still like basically financially very Republican, but possibly a little bit more liberal in their approach, which kind of makes sense in a way because politicians tend to be sort of a bit older, but you know as they are sort of slower than social change. That makes sense because they have to age before they can run for office. But yeah, it's possible. But I don't know after 2 Democratic terms whoever the Republicans got will just win just because of the sort of natural swing of things.
Yeah, that's a point actually. But I mean, to be honest, I don't think there's out of the Republican candidates, 2 most likely people to be elected to run against Clinton, and then 2 most likely candidates to be running in the presidential race would be Jeb Bush and this guy. I don't know whether you heard of him, a guy called Ted Cruz, who
I have heard of Mr. Cruz.
Totally insane. he's proper, you know. I love the NRA. I think guns are right. I think abortion should be outlawed, full stop. I think that Obama's hideous and black, and I think it's just I don't get why people like that should A, be given any responsibility or power at all, and B, second of all, have a following. I mean, this guy is proper full on. You know, the people who follow him are like really devoted followers, and they will take bullets for him. And quite frankly, the only person I like to see take bullets for him is himself. So I don't.
Outrageous, outrageous. Yeah, maybe we should move on to the celebrity gossip bit of the show before we
Yeah,
go.
talking about celebrity gossip. Did you know that Ted Cruz's wife had several affairs in the first few years they were married? I don't
This
know.
is the thing about Republican, like both Republican female politicians and the wives of Republican male politicians tend to be pretty hot. Like Sarah Palin, like I wouldn't vote for her, but definitely there's something about her. So I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about extreme, like really right-wing women. it's weird. I've put my hands up. It's all.
What's great about this is that we're going to have to film it in 3 parts rather than just the normal 2. Reason being is that... Oh, no, hang on.
Yeah, you froze a bit there. Last all we had was the normal 2, which is, I mean, could mean anything. It's quite nondescript.
You froze. I said that you know, what's great about this episode is we'd have to record it in 3. We have to record 3 bits of it rather than just the normal 2.
Yeah, that would be handy. Anyway, celebrity gossip.
Yeah.
UK based. I haven't really been following the celebrity gossip this year. Zayn Malik shaved his hair. He was the one who left One Direction. He's got a new haircut.
What was great is the fact that he was getting stressed over the fact that people were tweeting about his new haircut when he was part of One Direction. So he left One Direction and shaved his head. So that's I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think that's the logical order of things, but you know.
See, I've got a theory about this. I reckon because Skrillex, just before Skrillex released his second album, he got that little like buzz cut in the side, and Zayn Malik's gone all over it. So I reckon he's about to release an absolute compilation of like dubstep bangers, like, or maybe some trap music. Like, because I mean, Skrillex used to be in a death metal band, and he like basically is still like heavy, but like totally switched genres. So maybe Zayn Malik's going to go from pop, and he'll just be like making dubstep, or maybe he'll come up with like some deep house or a little bit of liquid drum and bass, and be like, this guy's actually really talented. He'll be like a modern day Zac Efron. You think he's just like famous because he got famous as a child, but he's actually really talented. Like maybe.
Well, I've seen Bad Neighbours. I do like Zac Efron in that film. He's brilliant.
17 Again is a great film. I'm putting it out there. Like
haven't seen it.
It's good. It's got Zac Efron cracking on with Leslie Mann, I think. She plays his wife. That's when he's that guy from Friends. When he gets a lot younger and like he's still trying to crack on with her. And then she's pretty keen because he was like 19 at the time. And then it's actually a pretty good film.
Fair enough. Why not?
I'll give it 3.5 out of 5.
Is that what we're doing now? We'll ditch celebrity gossip and crack on with film reviews.
No, well, I think we'll just to try and make ourselves stand out. I'll give it 7 out of 9. There we go.
Nice.
We'll use, yeah, because then people will be like, out of 9. You'll be like, yes, it's our thing. No one will ever say that because they've watched this, but.
Yeah, the problem is that people will start putting on the back of their you know, on the posters when they go advertising like Fast and Furious 9, politics, 7.5 stars.
Yeah, but they'll have to put out of 9 so people realise it's better than they think it is, like as a percentage. Yeah, I mean that the Zayn's hair thing. Do you reckon he just shaved his whole body?
To be honest with you, that's not really what I tend to think about. So thank you for putting that image in my head.
That's all right, mate. That's one for you to think about all evening. But I haven't really been much of a celebrity gossip, but I've taken notes. I haven't seen anything like explode on Twitter or anything.
No,
Avengers 2 comes out next week, I believe. So that'd be good.
This week I'm going to go and see it on Thursday.
Excellent.
Could not be happier about that.
Yeah, I'm really buzzing. Oh, the trailer for Superman versus Batman came out as well. That should be good. And the trailer for Ant-Man. So lots of.
Trailer for Superman versus Batman came out.
Well, no, not a trailer, but teaser trailer. So yeah, they do a teaser trailer and then a trailer, then a second trailer. Oh yeah, and there's trailer for Star Wars come out as well. That's sort of big news.
That's amazing. If anyone hasn't seen that, I'm talking to all 0 of our watchers at the moment, our viewers, absolutely none of them, because they don't exist. But if you haven't seen that, you need to go and see it. And just the bit at the end, so good, so good. Gave me
Yeah, it should be.
Gave me
should be a good film.
Yeah, absolutely.
Superman versus Batman should be good as well, though, because basically, like, even though some people weren't keen on Dark Knight. No, Dark Knight Rises, the third one with Bane and Catwoman. Like, it was still a good film. It just, wasn't as good as Heath Ledger's The Joker. But whoever's like going to be the new Batman, big shoes to fill, like that episode of The Simpsons.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Apart from that, but celebrity gossip, there's been nothing really. It's just been a very bland week.
No, I'm trying to look at what's going on Metro Weird News. But there's nothing. There's absolutely
nothing. Right. Well, we better leave it there then.
Wait. This is brilliant actually. 12 celebrities discuss their experiences with LSD.
Was this like when Jon Snow got caned on Channel 4?
No, it's so. Let's see. Who would you want? Okay, we've got Steve Jobs, Paul McCartney, Angelina Jolie, Courtney Love, Jonathan Aitken, Frank Zappa, Cary Grant, Anais Nin, Ben Fogle, Neil Patrick Harris, Larry Hagman, or George Carlin. Who would you like?
We'll go for Angelina Jolie, because I can't help thinking everything that lady does is tend to be viewed by like massively positive by like the UN and everyone. They're like, oh, Angelina Jolie did LSD. Oh, we should probably think about doing it ourselves.
I mean, let's be honest, the US Army were giving people daily doses of LSD in the 60s, so they just went through. So that's already been done. So Angelina Jolie said, I remember taking LSD before I went to Disneyland. I started thinking about Mickey Mouse being a short, middle-aged man in a costume who hates life.
That's not LSD, that's clairvoyance.
That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, well, now that we know all about Angelina Jolie's
drug habits,
discretions, time to end the show. Thank you very much for no one who's watched. We'll be back at some point within the next 2 weeks. We should definitely do one more show just before the election. Then we'll do one after as a sort of fallout.